So typically what happens is the first work that you will ever do in a law firm when you enter as a fresher or when you enter as a, even as an intern, typically you are packed off to do something called a due diligence. Now due diligence is basically, if you read section 19A of Indian Contract Act, it deals with misrepresentation, okay. Now if you are aware of the anatomy of a contract, you will see a section called representations. Now section 19A has a very interesting provision. What it says is that a contract which is obviously afflicted by misrepresentation by one of the parties is voidable at the option of other party, okay. But there would not be any misrepresentation if one party could have discovered the facts by ordinary due diligence. Yeah. What that means is that if you've, so what happens is that typically for a contract to come into existence, you have to do due diligence, okay. So for instance, say for instance, I have a company, I am taking a loan from a bank. Now I say that, what happened was I'm a private company, but due to, because I've exceeded the stipulated number of members in the company, what happens is that I have ceased to remain a private company, I've become a public company. However, the representation that I make is that I am a private company, okay. Now this fact is easily verifiable. If you go to MCA website, it is easily verifiable. Now suppose a lender is very churlish about the fact that I wanted to give the loan to a private company and this guy has lied to me. So I want to annul the contract. So that I can recover whatever money I have given to him. Now because of operation of section 19A, that you could have discovered this by ordinary due diligence, but you did not do that. He doesn't have any remedy. Okay. Now, because of this, typically, there are several other reasons for doing due diligence. You obviously want to know what you are entering into, and this is obviously one of them. This is the legal reason. There are other reasons which are purely commercial. Say for instance, you want to give loan to a project, and you want to find out about the viability of a project. So that is another reason. You want to check whether the licenses are in order, whether the company is earning as much as it can. What are so obviously financial statements have to be submitted to ROC, the jurisdictional ROC annually. So are they in order? So these kind of things also, for investigating these kind of things, what you do is typically you do a due diligence, okay. Again, I'm not getting into specifics, but this is primarily the objective. Now this work, I'm afraid to say, is not very interesting. To most people, if you ask them, how was your corporate law internship, they'll say that, my internship wasn't great. I ended up doing due diligence only, But believe it or not, in my earlier days, I really enjoyed doing due diligence. The reason for that is because I guess, when you do due diligence, you tend to find out a lot of things. Say for instance, if you look at a SIN, your corporate identity number of a company, these are the kind of things that you learn when you do a due diligence. So a SIN would always start with either U or an L. So what does U or L signify? Unlisted or listed. So company will always be, will have limited liability. The members of the company will have limited liability. Very rarely would you have, if it's a question of one member company or some other thing, then it would have unlimited liability. Otherwise, the reason you write limited after a company's name. So Khetan and Company, for instance, just because it is Khetan and Company doesn't mean that it's a company. Had it been Khetan and Company Limited, it would have been a company. Otherwise, obviously, Khetan and Company is a firm. It's a partnership firm. No bones about that. So anyway, so talking about due diligence. So due diligence is one aspect that you will have to do at in earlier years of your career. That is something that you do. And to be very honest with you, due diligence does educate you a lot. Obviously, over a period of time, it becomes repetitive. If you do the same kind of work over and over again, obviously you are bound to feel bored. But that is how things are. But it is an educative experience. So